There you go. All right, shoot. I appreciate you guys waiting.
We'll talk about the safety in a bit, I'm sure, but taking a kicker in the third round, John, as a safety.
It's not easy, but they're really important, and we've had a very good one here in our tenure, and so I think you put this much work into making your roster as competitive as we have, you're going to be in a lot of close games, and kickers matter, and we knew that we'd be looking this year, and our special teams coaches really got out and about and really studied this thing hard, and we put a lot of thought into it. When we felt like there was one who separated themselves from the rest, we became very convicted, and we were fortunate to have 3 third-round picks, and we felt like he was worthy of one, and we're happy to have done it. So,
did you have intel that somebody else was close to taking him?
No, no intel there. The intel that we had is that there's a lot of teams in the NFL right now who seem to have a need at kicker, and I think that there's a couple good college ones this year, but consensus, I think this was the guy, and so we put a lot of work into it. Ultimately, decided with one of those 3, if he's there, we were going to go there, and right down to the end, we decided to do it at 99 because we felt that good. We didn't want anyone going to that Vegas pick and doing it, so we did that, and he's. There wasn't the applause that we got when we took the Ji'Ayir Brown in our own room, but I think everyone knows it's necessary, and everyone feels really good about this kid.
Jake has said to us that Robbie Gould has been somewhat of a mentor to him, and he spent some time with him. He felt he wanted to pass the torch. Did you talk to Robbie at all about him?
No, we didn't talk to Robbie about him. I know they share the same agents. Brian Schneider got out and worked him out, and I think that's that was our interaction. Kyle and I are going to be completely upfront, just as we were with Mitch. We really rely on our special teams coaches when it comes to those things, and Schneider and his group did a great job of really vetting these guys, doing a thorough process, involved our R&D department, and Jake was the consensus guy for us. He's a baller. He's a baller. I think he's got the components of what make up a Niner. We had consensus, coaches to scouts it was all around the building. He really solidified that with his tape, but then he came here on a 30 visit, and he's just got this infectious personality, and he's, I know something's been made about him not running a real fast 40. Our R&D department has, some of the fastest times amongst the safety stack, so I think he plays fast. He's good up towards the ball production, 10 interceptions over the last couple of years. He's just a really good football player. And then when you add the person, he's a team captain. It's just like Steve Wilkes said, that's my dude right there. And, everybody in the building wanted that guy. Our top target of the guys we identified that we thought had the best chance of being there in the third, where we picked, we didn't think he'd be there at 99. I didn't think he'd be there. Quase said no once, but then we got back on the phone, and thank you to Quasey and the Vikings for letting us get up there, and, really happy to have Ji'Ayir Brown.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like kicker is probably not a position you like to spend a lot of time thinking about it. How important is it for you to kind of have somebody that you can trust and just have that peace of mind that you don't have to worry about it?
Very important, because I don't want to have to think about it, which I've been fortunate in that area for the last 6 years. So it's been awesome with Robbie. We haven't had to worry about that spot, how consistent he's been with making field goals. I think I've said before, it was the first time in my career that I always actually just energy-wise always felt like the kick was going in, and he earned that with us, and probably starting with our first year when he didn't miss one. But it's not fun to have to go replace that. I still can't believe we didn't take a running back. But, it was a necessary need. And but if you're going to do it, you better do it with the right one. And, we felt like we got the best kicker in the draft, and one that, I can't say that I study kickers every year, but the people who do felt very good about it. And, I think it's all about, you need one, so where are you going to get it? And you think you're looking at, there's probably 5 to 6 teams who you feel need a kicker, and so the whole debate is where to go get that guy because it's someone you need to get. And when you look at the history, the majority of kickers go in the 4th round. We didn't have a 4th round pick. The guy was not going to be there in the 5th round. And when you look at pick 99, I know they call it the 3rd round, but to me it's 7 picks after the 3rd round ends. So I feel like it's the start of the 4th round. So to me that was the spot that we felt would be the spot to get him. But that's why we were also nervous that someone could come up to 100 and take him. So I'm very glad that we got him. But yeah, it's not quite as fun as some other things can be. But I think it would be if we'd had a bad kicker for the last 6 years. I think everyone would be like, all right, we finally invested and we got one. But, when you have one who's been like Robbie and so consistent, it's a little anticlimactic, but it was something that is extremely important.
Did you guys get any texts, good or bad, from other draft rooms after the kicker pick?
Other special teams coaches who coached me throughout the career, so that's always good. That
Like, were they like, whoa, dude, you stole that guy? Or like,
great,
wow.
great pick, great spot. So that meant something to me because I respect this guy. He's one of the better ones, and those guys tend to know.
Most of my friends made fun of me. Most of my friends made fun of me. They're trying to make me feel insecure about it. We don't. So.
Picked in Ann Arbor, sway things like, bad weather, upper Midwest, that sort of thing.
I think it helps.
Yeah, a little bit, of the story that was shared with us too. There was a guy who had arrived there before him, who was a really highly recruited guy, more heralded than Jake, and Jake came in, was pretty good. Harbaugh put him through, a competition, as explained to me that only Jim Harbaugh, could do, and it was pretty intense, and the kid was nails, and really, kind of fought through that to win the job over a guy who was a really big recruit and all that, and so they really speak of him glowingly there, and Schneid's got to be there, Brian Schneider got to be there, spent some time with them, and really became convicted that not only the way this guy kicks the ball, both on his kicks and in kickoffs, but the personality, which is important for that position, the confidence, the steadiness, was all there.
Was the Brown pick, was that kind of looking ahead a year when you're not, when you would Gip on a 1-year deal and his age and everything like that? Or is it something where you think he can compete for a starting job now?
I think, we feel pretty good about Gip and Huff. They played really well at a really high level. We'll never, we're not just, giving people jobs, and Kyle can speak more to that, but we felt like we could add to the depth of that position. And Ji'Ayir's a guy, he can come in, play special teams right away, and learn the safety position. He's got good versatility to his game, and I think he'll be a great complement to those guys.
Kicker question. Moody was the highest drafted kicker since Roberto Aguayo in 2016. That did not work out well. It's like he's just a cautionary tale of, when you draft a kicker like this,
Yeah.
be careful. I'm sure you're aware of that history, but sometimes it's hard just because kicking in college is different than kicking in the NFL. I guess, what do you know about his makeup or anything that suggests he's going to be able to handle this?
Yeah, I just think, the things I described, he's an extremely confident kid. He's been through, that competition I spoke of at Michigan. The way he kicks, he's an extremely aggressive kicker. All the things that, we just became very convicted. Yeah, you have to look at history and study it. We didn't pick him in the 2nd round. Like Kyle said, we see that as a 4th round pick, and we felt it was worthy of the pick. And so, we're convicted on it.
What strikes you most about Cameron Latu?
I think his mentality. I think he's a versatile player in that he's good in both the run and the pass. But he went to Bama as a linebacker, and I think he plays like that. I think he's got he's an aggressive player. He's a competitive player. When you're watching film with him, he's a guy who, as soon as the next play, his recall's really good, and coach, this is not a good one. He kind of grew on you from that standpoint. I know Kyle got to talk to Sark over at Texas, who had coached him right when he was transitioning over to the tight end position. you know, got some information, but, you know, just, we like the skill set, and we like the mentality.
Is he more for future, for depth, or do you see him playing right away?
I think you look at it the same way as Ji'Ayir. I mean, when we're sitting at 99, we're trying to get the best player, and that's going to be our first, you know, 99 and 101 and 102. We looked at almost all the same. We're trying to get 3 players who can make our team, and we feel we have a pretty good team. But we had a lot of hopes on guys who could fall to there that could not only just make our team, but could fill spots to potentially be a starter. It was so nice going into the draft this year that we didn't feel like we had to find a starter at any position except kicker. Everything else we feel we can win with our guys in, but we're going to do our best at every pick we have to first of all find someone who can make the team, and then someone who can compete to make the guys we have better, or to beat out the guys that we have. So we play 2 safeties. We have packages where we can have 3 in. Last year, our starting safety got hurt pretty early, and we ended up starting a safety who we got in a workout 3 weeks in a training camp, who's now our starting safety this year. Huff just got to start last year for the first time. We were fortunate there with health and everything, but to add some depth and also a guy who we believe could have gone in the second round and been a starter somewhere else. We feel we got a real good player who's going to help our team. And the tight end is the same situation, I think, is really the safeties. And I think we have a number of other positions like that hopefully we can address tomorrow.
All right, real quick, Matt.
Yeah, just a bookkeeping thing. You said that you hadn't talked yet, this a couple days ago, you hadn't talked yet to Brandon or Javon Kinlaw about whether
Yeah.
pick up the 5th-year
Yeah.
option. Have you talked to those 2 guys
Yeah,
yet?
I talked to both of them. Brandon, we're going to exercise that 5th-year option. We won't with Javon. I talked with Javon. Still looking for great things from Javon. Javon's having an outstanding offseason. He's in a great place, and you know, he's excited about what's to come as our we for him.
One more on Cameron. They said on the broadcast it was a sense that he was getting stronger as the year went on. I mean, did you guys see the same thing, that this was a guy who was recovering from an injury and getting better?
Yeah, I think it's one of the things we liked about him the most, that he looked like a good player, but also how much better he got throughout the year and how much more we think's in his body. And then you look at his history and knowing he came in playing linebacker the first 2 years, I think, switched over. So he's late to the position. And as you watch him throughout the year, we think he can get a lot better in the run game and the pass game. And it's hard to say whether usually you designate a guy one or the other. He's a run blocker or a pass blocker, or a pass game guy. And we see this guy as both, and he could accelerate in both. And that's important to us with all our tight ends.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.